I was going to go into business because thinking about China and business within the United States, getting companies to produce there and import goods in the U.S. But once I got in the museum world, it has everything about business that I like, about marketing and PR, to telling a story and getting people to come enjoy what you're doing. So once I learned that skill set, becoming a director was just over the course of 22 years from an intern to being a director. So it's been a good trajectory, but a roundabout way.
Right. And it's taking you from Kansas, Missouri to
Scotland? Scotland. I got a fellowship to live there for a year. I was told to teach and write a book, so I was able to create my first book and also teach 2 classes for the year. And so it was quite a great experience. And from there, I saw the University of Florida had a job open, and I was hired to be the endowed chair to build the new wing. If you've been to the Harn Museum of Art at the University of Florida, the $20 million Asian art wing is what I was hired to build, and so that was my first big project in America.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's cool. And so then how do you transition down to Ocala with the Appleton?
With about a decade at the University of Kansas, I was able to go to Ocala, and instead of a team of 9, I have a team of 32 people, full and part-time, and just it's thinking about the director, you have not only the art side, but also the business side, from marketing, like I said, to everything from HVAC to even law, to how do you deal with the public, how do you deal with the K through 12 classes versus helping university and college students be challenged and educated in the museum. So, it was honing all the skills that I had learned, but also especially getting hired right a few months before the pandemic. I had to learn to do that as well. So,
Right. So how did that change the game?
I think it changed the game in the sense that people missed the museum, and that we were able to retool like everyone and become experts in video and taping our iPhones to whatever we could to make videos for the educational videos, but for art teaching and art classes online. And then how opening back up after about 8 months, from like March to October, we were closed to the public, and then getting people back in the museum and then helping them feel that the museum is a place of wonder, but also rest, and it excludes the outside, which people need to be able to come in and forget and then enjoy something beautiful before going back outside and being afraid of the air. So.
Right. So. Absolutely. So tell us about the Appleton. I mean, how many pieces of art do you have there? I know you mentioned you have 30 people, I believe you said, working there.
So the Appleton is a great example of a private-public partnership. Mr. Appleton decided that he wanted to build a museum in Ocala, and he had a thoroughbred farm as well in Ocala. And so his art collection was known about it with the Ocala officials, and they had 44 acres on east side of Ocala that would be a good place for the museum and activate that space. So he worked with them to get the land, and then on that land he built the museum, which opened 35 years ago on December 13th, 1987. So at the museum, besides 44 acres, our neighbors are the Ocala Civic Theater. They are within 100 yards of us, and they are on the museum's property. The museum itself has 24,000 objects, oldest stuff around 5,000 years old, and the newest stuff 2022 in terms of contemporary art. So we have a vast collection from most of the continents, from Africa to Asia to Europe to North and South America, as well as global contemporary art. And the museum has an outreach program from not only through K through 12 through the 3 counties that the College of Central Florida serves, which is Marion, Levy, and Citrus County, but also we have a great outreach program through K through 12 so you get young kids to old kids to the retirees that are on top of the world. So we're planning that out with all the aspects of what the museum is. It has an educational component, like you took your family photos there. It has a community impact component, but it also has the academic importance as being part of the college itself.
So it's all across the board.
All across the board.
Right.
Yeah, you try to make sure you hit everything running smoothly between college, community, collection and community, and educational outreach. Not that everybody has to come to the museum. We also do a great outreach program across all 3 counties. And so usually we meet between 500 and 2,000 people on outreach programs during each month.
Mm-hmm.
And each month, visitors to the museum are between 3,000 to 5,000
Per month?
per month.
Oh, okay. So you'll stay pretty active.
Yeah, we're pretty active, and we're always trying to be reflective of our counties. And Marion County is a little bit different than Alachua in terms of its economics, in the sense that about 20 to 30% are under the poverty line.
Mm-hmm.
And so we took that to heart and went ahead and added more free days, free admission days for the museum. And that's something we're really proud of, that every first Saturday of each month is free to the public. And that has matched what we saw, where we know the numbers are for economics in our area, but it matches that increase almost percentage point per percentage point for the increase of attendance. So
right. Is it free for everyone?
Free for everyone, yeah. And so you can come in and see all the exhibits, and it also allows us to expand to reach new partners. And a lot of times it'll be nonprofit groups that come on those days, and that gives a new opportunity to go out and meet people and go to their place too and support them in what they're doing.
So how do you go about getting the exhibits? Are there any that are traveling exhibits that Appleton has for a little bit of time? Are they permanent?
Yeah, we do a mix of both. We support Florida artists, so historical works all the way up to contemporary artists. So that's one thing we look for, is young artists that are working in Florida or established artists living in Florida. We reach out to them from all across the state. So for example, right now we have an exhibit from an artist from Gainesville as well as Jacksonville that just opened up this past weekend. But we also take traveling shows that are either international or national. Our current show, we have it's inflatable contemporary art. Everything's like 10 feet tall, and if you've seen parade floats like at Macy's Day Thanksgiving Parade, the company that makes those big blow-up things worked with artists, and they made large sculptures. And so we have everything from a big skull, a human skull, to 2 big giant flamingos, to a giant scorpion-like thing, to a variety of different art objects that are currently touring the U.S., and they're here till this weekend through Sunday. So it's a show that's been up for about a month and a half, and then that show will go on.
Okay. So where are they located in the actual museum? I imagine.
Oh, on the first floor in our special exhibition hall. In that gallery it's large enough to hold those massive pieces. So in the rest of the galleries are permanent collection and loans from the artists, like I mentioned, from Florida artists.
So if someone wants to come in and do a tour, is it just I come in there and I do my own thing, or are there guides?
Yeah, you can do any one of things. On a free day, we have guides and we have handouts of where you go into the galleries. But also we have an online tour that you can cell phone tour that you can use on your phone to see the artwork itself, listen to the artist talk or the curator talk, or has extra materials that you can link online to see more about the art that you're seeing on the wall. So you could do a self-tour. You can also ask for, if you bring in a group, you can ask for us to have our education department give you a tour. And those tours are usually Tuesday through Sundays. But for occasions where sometimes visitors need extra assistance, so we work with special needs groups that may not be able to handle too much bright light or noise or just people or commotion. Mm-hmm. So we'll open up on Mondays for special tour groups for that. So that's another way to engage a community that wouldn't be able to come. And so we try to meet everyone's needs, from economics for free days to people who want to do self-tours, to people who have formal tours with their group, like from church or retirement communities or schools coming through. And then the last group would be making sure we serve folks that need a little time that's different than the traditional open times.
Right. So it sounds like regardless of financial situation or any other issues, you're accommodating to all people.
We're trying to get out there and make sure that we can not only be open and free and make the museum accessible, but we're also adding American Sign Language to our videos that are in the museum as well as online on our YouTube station. But we're also getting to the point where we can also go bilingual into Spanish. So we're trying to do that on a shoestring, but we are getting it done, and we're finding out that the best way to do that is with partnerships, and we're working with local, not only our students, but also our faculty, but also local partners in and around Marion County that can help us with those needs to go up to the next level of making sure we can reach all of our audiences throughout our counties.
Right. And so I failed to ask this at the beginning, but what are the actual business hours? You know, Monday through Sunday? What time are we open at?
So actual hours are Tuesday through Sunday. Tuesday through Saturday, it's open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday from 12 to 5 p.m.
Okay. All right. What, tell us about some of the upcoming projects or events that y'all have going on.
Right now, current ones that'll be running through the holidays are yearly holiday decorations from the Urban family, their local family in Ocala that share all their Christmas trees, nutcrackers, little Hallmark villages, and they're all on display. So that runs through all the way through the second week of January. Another project we're looking into will be opening on December 18th. Will be from the permanent collection, which means that the artworks owned by the Appleton will be putting large-scale works on display, such as paintings, sculptures, as well as paintings. Everything that is too big to go in the other galleries is going in the special exhibition gallery all at once, just to show off that we do collect works of all sizes and time periods. And so we'll look at a exhibit dated from around 1890s as the earliest piece, all the way up to around the early 2000s for oversized artworks that'll be from the permanent collection. That'll be a lot of fun, I think.
Absolutely. So what is the oldest piece of art that y'all have on the
probably something from Egypt, from around 2800 before the Common Era, before BC. So about 5,000 years old. So, and then objects from China are probably around 3,000 years old. And then when you get to the New World, think about North and Central American and South American collections, works from around the year 500 BC all the way up to around 800. So those would be the oldest, and then moving forward through European art all the way up, and contemporary art all the way up to, like I said, 2022.
It's a pretty wide gap.
Pretty wide, and it's a lot of fun to get in there and find artworks. And like I said, most people sometimes are afraid to come to museums, but we have everything that's ever been made by people. So
Right.
they're going to find, you can find something in common, from having children, or having to be scared, or go to war, or have to pray, or have politics, or just find things of nature and all. You can find that at the museum. So
Right.
we're quite happy with that.
All right. Well, we're about to take a quick break. You're watching Meldon Law and Friends. We'll be back soon with Jason to talk more about the Appleton.
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe this. Look what you have done to my truck.
Excuse me, it's your fault, it's not my fault.
Yes, it is your
No,
fault.
it's not. No,
I am
it's not.
calling Jeffrey Meldon from Meldon Law.
So I'm gonna call Jeffrey, my husband.
Meldon Law, this is Jeffrey speaking.
This crazy lady here, this crazy lady, he might...
New client? Yes, but this one might be a little tricky.
I was in a truck accident. Because of the accident, I've resulted in 3 back surgeries. We saw advertisements on TV, and guess who popped up more often than not? It was Jeffrey. The communication that he provided was so appreciative. He shows his compassion as a human. He assisted us in achieving one of our dreams, the acquisition of a home, and we're here today with smiles on our face with the assistance from Jeffrey.
Welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm your host, Ian Pickens, one of the attorneys with the Meldon Law Firm, filling in for Jeffrey Meldon. I'm here with Jason Steuber, who is the director at the Appleton Art Museum. And we've been talking a little bit about everything you got going on down there. And you mentioned that your oldest piece is around from 2800 BC. So I got to ask, how did that end up in Ocala?
I think collecting, especially in a modern sense of the word, begins around the 18th century, so 1700s. People start exploring the world more fully, since they're learning more about trade routes and weather systems to be able to travel farther. And so those works, especially once people start collecting on a global scale, would have been coming out of North Africa and Egypt, or Asia, or Africa, or even in the New World in America. So collections have been built originally from the 1700s forward. First of all, they would have been collected as oddities, or cabinet of curiosities.
Right.
So that's how something so far away they would be so precious to collect. So objects like this would have been passed through many hands. And by the time they got to Mr. Appleton in Chicago, probably around the 1940s and 1950s, when he was really starting to uptick on his purchases, all the way through the late 60s, he was buying a lot of everything.
Right.
Hence, his collection, his founding collection, came to the museum, like I mentioned, in 1987, and that collection was about just under 7,000 works, which included the Egypt, Africa, North and South American collections. And so it would have been collected, and then Mr. Appleton, and now it's in the state collection of the College of Central Florida at the Appleton.
So how did you said he was originally from Chicago?
Yeah. The Appleton family was, they did electrical engineering. It was a firm they had in Chicago. And thinking about that, they were key to, especially during World War II. Mr. Appleton's family and Mr. Appleton himself created many unique electrical devices that were used for the military. So even through today, his copyrights are good for, especially for circuitry and piping for electrical materials in, say, submarines and warships that go out. His miniaturization at that time is still used in terms of safety and usage. His are very practical, but very good quality, so they still use them today.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So is there a part of the museum that goes into kind of the background of?
Yeah,
Mr.
in our auditorium, we have a display of the Appleton history of both Mr. Appleton and Mrs. Appleton, as well as the company and materials that they would have made. And also, they had that second career, like I mentioned. They owned a thoroughbred farm in Ocala, so they were successful at that during the 70s and 80s as well. And so, in one of the stories, the architect had mentioned, who built the museum for Mr. Appleton, said he was surprised that the museum was cheaper than the new horses he was buying. So it was that kind of world he was living in Ocala in the mid to late 80s.
Right.
And so that's the kind of philanthropic vision that someone of his stature could do. He had a successful business, had successful horse breeding and racing business, but also he saw coming from Chicago, he would have been visiting the Field Museum, the Art Institute of Chicago, and he saw the importance of having art publicly available, and that's one of the founding principles that he always made sure to mention. That he wanted Ocala to have an art museum for all the people to enjoy something from, say, Egypt or Africa or Asia that they may have never get the chance to do. And that was that idea of having art for all and making sure it's accessible. And that's as I mentioned before, we're trying to keep that vision alive and in new ways that he may have never imagined about getting on the radio and talking about it.
Right.
I know, on a podcast, or putting it online and having digital copies available for people to study. So we're circling back to how and Mr. Appleton's collections got to the museum here.
Right. So since you've been director, what's some of the, I guess, your biggest accomplishments or some of the growth that you've seen that you're most proud of with Appleton in our community?
I think, having mentioned the first free Saturdays, that's been a great benefit for definitely, almost 1,000 people every Saturday for each of the months. But in addition, especially during coming at the beginning of the pandemic, we wanted to make sure that we appreciated, first responders, doctors, nurses, and teachers who really had to change and adapt for not only how we teach and our children, but also how do we deal on the front lines of all that unfolded during the pandemic. So we started a Heroes program, which is free admission if you're a veteran or an active service member. So we're very keen on service to the military veterans, as well as, like I said, active service and their families. But we also make sure that we apply that to police, EMT, first responders, as well as teachers from K through 12 to college, university. So educators and people that keep us safe and that educate us are always welcome, and they're always free. And so that was one thing we made sure that we've continued that, even now getting back to more normal days. And so those are between accessibility and making the museum, having the opportunity to get there. And I think even my own family, it was hard. Like I said, I was 24 before I went to a museum, and some of that was time, other would have been money. But if I can start deleting the barriers, and I think we have as a team deleted those and work closely with our partners in the community, and the more we delete, the more people can enjoy. And I think that's what we've been most proud of so far.
Awesome. So how can our viewers learn more about the Appleton? I mean, what are you all on social media?
Yeah, I think you can go to appletonmuseum.org online, and you'll be able to find through there our YouTube station, our Facebook, our Twitter, and as well as our Instagram. And all those have different ways of communicating. Like I mentioned, we also have a free mobile app that you can download to your phone, which also allows you to know more about the Appleton's histories, videos, and more content of what's on the exhibit. But all those are ways that you can online that you can learn more about the Appleton. But also, we're doing things. We're often in every newspaper, magazine, as PBS, and so we've been trying to get the word out through local advertising, through, say, everything from, like I mentioned, PBS commercials. During, say, arts programming on Sunday nights, to something like Mini Mint, so it'd be, a roofer, the Appleton Museum, a barbecue place, and a car place. So trying to diversify opportunities that we can reach more people, and in North Central Florida. So we've been trying every avenue to get people to know that they're always welcome, and it's an opportunity just to come for free, especially if you're making a trek from Gainesville and down to Ocala.
Right. So besides just going and viewing all the awesome exhibits y'all have down there, do you also have the opportunity to, can I have an event there, or? Yeah,
in terms of, we have everything from celebrations of, gender reveal parties for the babies, all the way to celebrations of life, as well as corporate parties and nonprofit parties as well. So the museum is there for social and individual events and rentals, and we have a great courtyard facility that's beautiful with a fountain. That many weddings are taking place there.
Christmas photos.
And out front, you have to post that, so we'll have to see your photo, especially in front of the museum. Again, with the nighttime, with all the Christmas lights and the large Christmas tree. Just the idea of, again, it's free, or you can rent the museum as well. So always having that dual opportunity. You can come to the museum, you can rent it for your event during the day or in the evening, and a lot of people do events during the day because it's a little bit cheaper, because we're open there in that time.
Right.
If you're going beyond hours, it gets a little bit more because we have to have additional staff. But I would suggest giving us a call and see if we can always work with rates for educators to corporations that would like to do a party as well.
Right. So that was what I was gonna follow up with. So who would a person reach out to? Would they just call or send an email or?
Online you can see her name is Colleen Harper, and Colleen is our events manager. And you can reach out to her, and she can work with you and meet you and show you throughout the museum, give you the pricing options, and often in discussions we work out something that's individualized for each of the renters. For if it's a wedding and they really want a certain type of catering and everything, we work within that to make sure it's a safe and welcoming experience that we meet the needs of our patrons.
So we talked a lot about the community side of everything. You know, I know it's also it's tied with the college, so there's that academic. So is it you mentioned classes? Do I have to be a student to take the class? I mean, how can I just attend?
No, we have everything from art teacher. All of our instructors are art teachers. And so we have classes from for kids 6 years old on up through adult classes, and every range from very beginning, stick figure drawing like I'm able to do, to easy introduction to pottery, to introduction to drawing and painting. So you can get very good student-teacher ratios between 10 to 15 during those classes, and prices range from everything from $40 up to about $200, depending on the class. Say if it's pottery, you got to have a lot of clay and glazes, so that's a little bit more expensive. But if you're taking a drawing class, it's much more affordable. And we also have scholarships during the summer for our summer camps. And so something like that, where students can come in for a week to 3 week camps and have a variety of activities every day. Those would range between $200 and $350, and then we also have scholarships that people have set up funds to help people who need a little assistance to help fund their kids attending summer schools.
Okay. Do y'all have? I took a pottery class. I made a C, so I was not good. But do you have what do they call it? The
kilns?
Kiln?
Yeah.
You got that on?
Yeah,
on
we're
site?
one of the few museums in North Central Florida with a dedicated entire wing dedicated to education. So we have 3 kilns, which means you can take a pottery class, we can fire it there, we can glaze it there. So it's very rare to have that. But we also have a large area called Art Space, where you can come in and use all of our materials, make a mess at our house so you can take the artwork to your home without messing your house up. So there we have, every day it's free to visitors to the museum that you can use our art making materials from painting to drawing, but also we also have opportunity there to discuss options for taking additional classes, like I mentioned, paintings or ceramics.
So who would a person get in touch with to get these?
For that,
same individual? Or?
No, for that would be Hollis Much. Hollis is our educator, and she's in charge of developing all the classes and delivering all the classes, but also the main person for outreach to go to K through 12 skills, and also working with homeschoolers, which is another group that take advantage of our art space, because being a homeschooler, you don't have all the materials and kilns, for example.
Right.
So you can come in and use our work with Hollis and develop a plan for teaching the homeschoolers, but using our materials.
Right. So we're closing on the end of 2022, jumping into 2023 pretty soon. What is in future for the Appleton? What big plans do you have, or forward?
I think we're looking forward to celebrating this upcoming year, the 35th anniversary year, and we're going to celebrate on the permanent collections. And we're also looking into finalizing the design for our sculpture walk. So on the exterior, on the grounds, we have several sculptures outside that we're going to be able to put down a paved walkway, and it's lit. So you'll be able to not only get fresh air and exercise, but also learn about each of the sculptures. And each of those sculptures are already on our free mobile app. So you'll be able to walk, learn, enjoy the art, and enjoy the entire 44 acres.
Right. So the So 2023 is the 35th year. Is
Yes.
there going to be a special celebration at some point that
I think
year?
it's in stages, going through each of the galleries in reinstalling some treasures, but also introducing some new pieces. So we'll be doing that. Coming up, the first galleries to be refreshed will be the European painting galleries, which are the best collections in most famous collections out of the museum's works. And so we'll start there, and those should be opened up by March, April with the new exhibits.
Awesome. Well, Jason, I got to say, I've really enjoyed learning more about the Appleton.
Thank you so much.
I will be taking my family. I've been living in Ocala for 7 years,
Yeah.
and I'm ashamed to say I haven't actually been in there.
Right. Next time you know a guy, so you can come
Yeah, I
inside.
was about to say, yeah.
Take a picture outside, but also come inside and take advantage of the free days, and then kick the tires, see if you like it.
Absolutely. Appleton Museum, one of the best kept secrets in Ocala. We got to get the word out.
Get the word out.
What's the best way for people to find you?
Online at appletonmuseum.org. On there, you'll see everything from our opening hours, our address, all the way through what's going on and what the opportunities to come visit us.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure. We're going to take a quick break, y'all, and we'll be back in about 60 seconds.
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe this. Look what you have done to my truck.
Excuse me, it's your fault, it's not my fault.
Yes, it is your
No,
fault.
it's not, no,
I am
it's not.
calling Jeffrey Meldon from Meldon Law.
So I'm gonna call Jeffrey, my husband.
Meldon Law, this is Jeffrey speaking.
This crazy lady here, this crazy lady, he might...
New client? Yes, but this one might be a little tricky. When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down. Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. Two forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. We still hear it. The sound of victory. The joy of being part of something great. And while things may not be the same right now, we haven't gone anywhere. If you bleed orange and blue, then Meldon Law is the firm for you.
We are here at the University of Florida, where Albert and Alberta are competing in the Gator penalty shootout. Albert is ready to stop the shot at all costs. What a disaster! Luckily, Meldon Law is the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. If you have suffered any injury, do not worry, because Meldon Law is going to help you with your recovery. Meldon Law doesn't back down until they reach their goal.
Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit? At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
Back to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm your host, Ian Pickens, here filling in for Jeffrey. And we have our second guest with us, Nikki Haddaway. She is the most important person in the Meldon Law Firm. She makes sure Jeffrey, Carrie, Maria, all of us stay straight. She runs the day-to-day for us. So, Nikki, it's happy to have you here.
Thank you very much, Ian. I'm glad to be here. This is my second time on the show, so
you're a pro now.
I'm a pro. I'm excited.
All right. So, big news for those of y'all that follow us on Facebook, any platforms. Nikki did something incredible at our last conference we went to with Crisp Marketing. She put in a lot of time, a lot of work, and tell us what you won, Nikki.
I won a Tesla. I won a 2022 Model 3 Tesla. So I will tell you all about the CRISP Experience program that I'm a part of. So Meldon Law is a part of a group called CRISP. They're based out of Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And CRISP started off as a marketing group for law firms. They are today recognized as the nation's top law firm growth coaching group. And what they do for us is we participate in classes. I drive to Atlanta 4 times a year, and I attend classes that are directed around operations, which is what I do for Meldon Law. I'm the director of operations. And through that group, I was competing with hundreds of other people across the country that are a part of the group also for the MVP title. It was the very first MVP, CRISP Experience MVP title, and then the grand prize was the Tesla. So I made it to the top 5 and then made it to number 1, and I won.
Absolutely. So we're not talking just law firms in Florida. We're talking nationwide, all sizes, from solo practitioners with 2 or 3 people to some big firms, you know, with 20, 30 attorneys. So you were in there and you came out on top.
Yes. We are grouped up with some of the nation's largest law firms, as well as some smaller law firms across the country, but it is probably, my guesstimate would be hundreds, close to 1,000 people in my group alone. So it was quite an undertaking for me. It was a lot of hard work. I did a lot of homework for the group, and there was submitting videos on different topics. Some of them were very emotional videos. Some of them were really hard to do. But they were looking to award the MVP title to the one person who they had recognized as making the most transformational change in their office. And ultimately, I guess that was me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what was the biggest takeaway from that experience with Crisp?
So that would be my biggest. I have so many takeaways. Crisp has taught me so much. They really have an amazing program. But overall, my biggest takeaway is a personal one, and that is that I can do whatever I set my mind to. I never would have imagined that I would be a year and a half after walking in the door at Crisp for the very first time, that I would be named their MVP and walking away with a brand new Tesla. That was mind-blowing for me, but I really set my mind to it. Some of the ladies in the office tell me I'm the queen of manifestation because I told everyone for a year and a half I was going to win this car. And that really speaks volumes to me, is that if you set your mind to something, you can do it no matter what it is. So that was by far my biggest takeaway.
Yeah, I'll be honest, you did kind of speak it into existence. Every time we were in the office, you were kind of mentioning it to the point where, like, my heart was racing when they were revealing it. I was like, please let her win. So we were so excited for you to see you win. So,
thank you.
How long have you had the car now?
So it was after I won. It was about a 2-week process. I actually had to go back to Atlanta for a second time and sign over the paperwork. And then they actually transported the car to me. So it arrived on my doorstep about 2 weeks after I won. And I've had it since, and it's been awesome. I love it. I never would have thought about owning a Tesla. I always thought, hey, that's pretty cool, but didn't know anything about it. And wow, I am really impressed. It's a really awesome car.
So big difference between going from gas to electric there?
Oh, yes. Wow. First of all, it's a lot cheaper. You still have to pay if you use a supercharger. It's kind of like pulling up to a gas pump, but it's a whole new experience. But it's about half the cost of gas. And I will tell you that I still have a gas car. And my husband said going from the Tesla to the gas car was like a downgrade, because the Tesla is just so nice. And it drives so smooth. There is no gear change. There is no hesitation when you step on the gas. Like, you step on the accelerator and it goes. And it's a whole new experience.
No kidding. So it's not shifting?
No.
That's insane. Okay, all right. My mind's just blown. Obviously, I'm just driving an old gas truck. So.
Yeah.
But conveniently enough, Meldon Law, we're going green, so we do have a plug. You hooking up it in the office?
Yes. So I'm now the third Tesla owner at Meldon Law, and Mr. Meldon had a charger installed at the office last year, so I can charge up at work, no cost to me.
Hey, see? Jeffrey with the perks.
Yes. It is wonderful working for Meldon Law.
Absolutely. So what is some of the things, I guess, because you've been with us for a little while, what is some of the biggest, I guess, areas that you've seen us grow as a firm?
Oh my goodness. Wow. There's so much. I have implemented everything that I've learned through the CRISP Experience program. And that is everything from our hiring funnel. I have completely changed the way that we approach hiring to our day-to-day operations. We, up until about 2 years ago, were small. And, when you're a small company, you don't have a whole lot of employees, things just seem to work. Mm-hmm. But once you start growing, that doesn't work anymore. And I am now in the middle of implementing systems and processes across the board, from reception all the way to our settlement department. So it's quite an undertaking, but I have seen a lot more productivity since I've started implementing these processes. Staff members seem a lot happier because it's not fun to come in and just be thrown at something. There needs to be some type of directive. So even our onboarding program, when we hire a new staff member, is completely new for us. It's very detailed, but it's very purposeful. And it is to help any new staff member at Meldon Law come on board, know what's expected of them, have no questions, go through a rigorous training program so that they really feel like they have all of the resources available to them, instead of bringing them in, putting them at their desk and saying, have a good day, and walking away. So it has created a lot of good morale around the office. It also is really good for employee retention as well.
Right. I was about to say, when I started, we were in Gainesville, and we were all in the one office, and then we branched out, and now we have 3 offices: Ocala, Gainesville, Lake City, and you're able to manage everybody and make sure. And so I've seen so much change, and that you've been an instrumental part of.
Thank you.
And so it definitely made my life easier, because now I have a little bit of structure in my day.
Yes. Well, hopefully it'll just keep on getting better. Meldon Law is on a growth spurt, and there is no limit to growth, and we don't plan to stop anytime soon. We want to bring our services, which we believe are the absolute best, to as many people as we can. We want to help as many people as we can, because that's our ultimate goal, is to be helpful to other people. So we want to expand and further our reach. Right now we're in Gainesville, Lake City, Ocala, and we want to go beyond that. So if you guys if any of our viewers are in the Ocala area, stop by, check out our office. We have a nice office. Ian here is the head of that office. He runs that office for me, so doing a great job there. But stop in and check us out. We have a really nice office. We have a nice billboard on top of our office that we offer to nonprofits. So if you have a nonprofit organization that you would like some free advertising, please reach out to us, because we would love to help you with that.
Who's the best person to reach out to?
So that would be our marketing office. You can call our Gainesville office, which is our main number, at 352-373-8000. You can ask for our marketing team, and our reception will get you right over to speak with someone on our marketing team. They're all great and helpful, and we'll get you set up.
Awesome. So what are some of the things moving forward, closing out 2022, moving into 2023?
Yes.
What are some of the things, not necessarily the firm right now, but goals that you have moving forward?
So goals that I have moving forward, I've had a really good year personally.
You want a Tesla.
Not just the Tesla, but Just to be recognized as the MVP for CRISP was really big for me, and I don't take that lightly. And someone asked me, where do you go from here? Does that mean that your journey with CRISP ends because you won? And I said, no, this is just the beginning for me. So my goal for 2023 is to keep growing, not only Meldon Law, but myself personally, my family, and just making sure that my kids are happy and healthy, and just keep moving along.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we're coming up on a short break. You're watching Meldon Law and Friends. I'm your host, Ian Pickens, filling in with Jeffrey here with Nikki, and we'll be right back in about 30 seconds.
Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
I've done mornings here on Sky Radio for 17 years. Jeffrey Meldon started doing his weekend show here 16 years ago. One of the things that separates Jeffrey is I don't see him out there hollering for people's business. I see him out there investing in the community. He's touched a lot of lives, and a lot of it he'll never know what a difference he made in somebody's life about information that he has shared on the air.
Welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm your host, Ian Pickens, one of the attorneys with the Meldon Law Firm here, filling in for Jeffrey Meldon. And again, we have Nikki Haddaway, our office manager, director of operations, go-to problem solver, wears a lot of hats. Nikki, good to have you on.
Thank you, Ian. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. So now we've been talking a little bit about CRISP, and you mentioned, where do you go from here now that you won their MVP award? So what is the plan moving forward? Obviously, we're still working with them in a lot of different areas to grow our brand and our firm. What's next for you with them?
So I actually have class with them on Friday. I'll be in Atlanta this Friday for my next class. Like I said, this is just the beginning for me. I am definitely not giving up my CRISP seat. My journey with them doesn't end. They still have a lot to teach me, and I am still very much willing to learn from them. So I'm going to continue on with my classes, but with my MVP title comes promotion of the program. So CRISP will ask me to help them with different aspects of the program. I might be asked to do some speaking engagements for them. I'm not sure because it's new for them. It is the very first CRISP Experience MVP title that they've given away.
Right.
So we're kind of just seeing where we can go with it. But again, just like our growth at Meldon Law, the sky's the limit with CRISP. And they don't plan on stopping anytime soon, and I certainly don't either.
Right. I remember, I think, Jeffrey, we went up to one of the Great Legal Marketing Conference, and it was my first time meeting and being introduced to Mike Mogul, who's the founder, CEO, along with his wife of CRISP. And at that point in time, I think they were just really doing like the videos that we originally did back in the day and put on the website, and now to see them evolve into, now we have the Capture Now and the CRISP Experience, and it's kind of taken not just marketing but the whole growth of a firm from the ground up, and we've definitely, I've seen leaps and bounds with us, kind of like with them.
Yeah. Well, why would we, learn from a company that bills themselves as the nation's largest growth law firm, growth coaching group, if they themselves weren't growing? So they are kind of, proof in themselves, because CRISP has grown exponentially over the past few years, and they went from literally a backroom, one office type of video production company to a huge company. They have right around 100 employees right now, and they have been named one of the Atlanta area's top places to work for I don't even know how many years in a row. So they are a fantastic group. I'm so excited to learn from them. And what's even better is it's not just me that has the opportunity to learn. We have other team members from Meldon Law that also attend classes at CRISP. We have our executive assistants go, our attorneys. We have our marketing team has seats with CRISP. So we all learn in so many ways from them. And I can't wait to see what is around the corner with CRISP next year.
Yeah, absolutely. And to show you that I actually do read the emails you send me, I did. I watched the video from Mike, and on every time he opened up his laptop, it said "Think Big."
Yeah.
So thinking big, 2023. What's Meldon Law going to do? How do we continue to grow? We're the official law firm of the Florida Gators. We have 3 office locations. When I started, it was just me and the Meldons. It was the 3 of us. Now there's 6 attorneys. How many support staff do we have? I mean, we have so many wonderful people in the office helping us grow.
Yeah, we don't plan to stop anytime soon. We are really going to be coming on the scene in Ocala and Marion County. Ocala and Marion County has a lot of really great people in that area, and our office is really taken off down there. So you'll be seeing a lot of Meldon Law in the Marion County area, as well as Lake City. We will be doing some events in Lake City. But aside from that, without giving up too much of the information...
As you can see, I'm trying to figure out what we're doing.
Without giving up too much of the information, we are really focusing down on our client experience. We want to make sure that every client that has any type of experience with Meldon Law, even if it's someone that just calls our office looking for advice or that we end up referring somewhere else, we want that person to come away saying, wow, Meldon Law. And that is our goal. So we will do whatever it takes to get to that point. And that includes, I'm going to continue really buckling down on our operations, because ultimately our operations, the main goal of our operations is to create that wow experience for everyone that has interaction with Meldon Law. So we are going to continue focusing in on that. Excuse me, we are looking at every single system and process in the office and looking at it from the client's eyes. So there will be ghost calls made to the office. There have already been some. Right. I can tell you that I've ghost called our office, so I'm trying not to give up the information to the staff. But I have ghost called the office, and I've ghost called other offices, because I want to make sure that I hone in on what we're doing wrong, what other businesses are doing wrong, so that I can make sure that we get it right.
Right. And that's really a top-down approach. Ever since I started working from Jeffrey, I know that his goal is on the client experience and making sure everyone's treated, cliche like he would want to be treated.
Yes.
But I think it speaks volumes for, Jeffrey and Carrie and how we're growing, that no matter how big we get, we don't lose sight of our client. And to your point, people that maybe we can't help because it's outside of our personal injury, auto accident, criminal defense areas, but we know a guy. So call us and we'll treat you like family. And that's really a top down from the big boss all the way down to DeVita, who's the first person you're going to speak with, or Amy.
Yes, and our goal is to be able to help everyone, even if we can't take on a case for whatever reason, if it's not an area of law that we specialize in. We can still help that person by referring them to another great attorney that has the same credentials as us, that we know treats the clients the same way that we do. So our goal is to help every single person that we interact with, and also not just people who call the office because they need legal services, but our community as well. Jeffrey Meldon has always been so big in the community, and we do still focus on that. So as you probably know, Ian, one of the things that I like to tell staff is, even though we're growing and we don't plan to stop, we're never, ever going to lose focus on our main goal, and that is that client experience. So it is possible to be a large business and still give great client experience. I will give you the Ritz-Carlton as my prime example. The Ritz-Carlton has the #1 customer service rating, and they have for a long time. And they are huge. As you know, the Ritz-Carlton
Absolutely.
is all over the world, but they still manage to give that amazing experience. And Meldon Law is going to do the same.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, because that's without the clients, then there's no us.
That's right. That's right. The clients are everything for us.
Absolutely. So you talked about, you mentioned it, Jeffrey always being involved in the community. What are some of the upcoming events that we may have? I know we got the partnership with the university, so we're always doing something with sports, but can you fill us in on any of the upcoming events in the different communities that we're in?
Yes. So because it's the holidays, we are trying to slow down a little bit on our events right now, but we do have basketball tickets that we're always giving away tickets to sporting events for the university. Right now we have basketball tickets. You can check out on our website, our Facebook page. There is always links to different giveaways that we're doing. And then on this Thursday, there is a Latin festival in downtown Ocala, and Meldon Law will be set up there with a tent. We'll have our prize wheel. We give away really nice goodies. So if you're in the Ocala area and want to stop by the Latin festival, we will be there representing. And then hopefully our events will slow down after this last event this Thursday, and we will kick into high gear with the new year.
Right. And I was also told Dance Alive with the Nutcracker
Yes.
giveaway. Do we have? Okay.
Yes, that's also on our Facebook page. We are giving away tickets to the Dance Alive Nutcracker performance. It's amazing if you've never been, and we do a lot of things with Dance Alive. They're a great company, so if you are interested, it's great fun for the family, for your kids. Check out our Facebook page, and all the information is there on how to enter to win those tickets.
So is that the only place you can go? I know I have people all the time, especially one of my friends. Hey, I want some tickets. I need some tickets. So Facebook, is it anywhere else? Instagram?
Yes, Instagram. You can check out Instagram. Most of our giveaways are through Facebook. I will give that disclaimer, and there's a reason for that. But we do sometimes do giveaways through Instagram as well. Sometimes if there's a special giveaway, it could be one or the other, only on Facebook or only on Instagram. So my suggestion, so that you don't miss any of our giveaways, is to make sure you like both the Meldon Law Facebook and Instagram pages.
Okay, so follow us on social media is what I'm getting.
Yes,
Facebook,
follow us.
Instagram.
We have TikTok.
Okay,
Yes.
and just go to the website. We might list some information there.
Yes.
Or worst comes to worst, call the office.
That's
and,
right.
We'll figure out how to make it happen.
That's right.
So we're getting close to the end here. I gotta ask.
Okay.
How fast have you gotten that Tesla?
So, I am actually a very safe driver, and
It's a good legal answer, right there.
it will go. It will go very fast. I will say that. I don't think I've gotten it up as fast as my husband, so we will not talk about that. I will say that if I need to get out in traffic, I can get out in traffic, and it definitely